Hey guys, this is Fraser from Think Smart Tutoring. Today we're going to be going over some logarithm basics, looking at what a logarithm is, looking at a couple log laws, and also doing some questions at the end. So what is a logarithm? Well, I've written out two statements here that are logically equivalent. Namely, I've written out that a raised to the power x equals b is the same as saying that logarithm base a of b is equal to x. So what this means is that what a logarithm does, or what we can think of a logarithm as doing, is it's telling us what do we raise a by in order to get this number here. So this is the base down here, and what do we raise the base by in order to get this number here, right? And in this case we know it's x, so we've written that statement out here. A raised to the power x equals b. Well, if we don't know that, we just need to sort of ask this question to ourselves: what do I raise this by in order to get this? Right, so you don't just look at a logarithm and go, I have no idea what this means. You just say that to yourself and you think, maybe I can answer this. You may need to manipulate the question a bit, but it should be answerable. You should be able to see what you need to raise a by in order to get b. I'll make it a bit clearer what exactly I mean by that a bit later. A couple basic logarithm laws here. So feel free to pause the video, have a look at these. Again, they're in your formula sheet, so you don't need to memorize them, but I would highly recommend memorizing them just because it saves you a lot of time when you know them. You don't have to check the formula sheet every time. But to be honest, over the years, you'll probably learn these by heart, even if you don't really want to. There's one here with addition, subtraction. There's one here where b is raised to some power c. You can bring it out. An important one is the change of base formula here, because as you can see, we're going from a base a to a base c logarithm. Now, you can pick c to be whatever you want. What I would usually the question sort of gives you a hint what you want. The way I remember it is because b is above a, b goes to the top, to the numerator, and because a is below, a goes down here. So that's why a is here and b is here. But again, it's given to you, but it speeds up the process if you remember it. So looking at a couple simple questions, just to sort of showcase the laws. So if I were to ask you, what do you raise 6 by in order to get 9? It's not quite obvious, right? I mean, we know it isn't an integer because 9 isn't a power of 6, because 6 goes 6, and then 6 squared is 36, and then 6 cubed is 216, and then after that, I don't know. So we know that it isn't going to be an integer. However, if we multiply them together, if we use our log laws, then we're going to get that this is log 6 of 9 times 4, right? Because we're using this formula here. And we know that 9 times 4 is just 36, right? However, we can rewrite 36 as 6 squared. So that means that this is just log 6 of 6 squared. So what do we raise 6 by in order to get 6 squared? Well, the answer is staring us right in the face. It's this number here, it's 2, right? Because we have to raise 6 to the second power in order to get 6 squared. So that's why it's nice, because we go from not quite knowing what these two are, but when we multiply them and simplify, we're going to get a nice integer value, which is usually what happens in your exams. Not always, but usually. Next one was more just to sort of showcase the third rule. So we can rewrite this as log 2 of 7 squared, but that is just 2 log 2 7, right? So I'm just applying the rule before. I'm bringing this 2 here in the power down here. I'm putting it outside. You won't necessarily have to do this sort of simplification, but it's nice to be able to change back between the two of them, right? So if you see this in an exam, you could also relate it back to this if it makes that simpler, right? The last one, I just wanted to do a little bit of change of base. So quick note, I want to change this to the natural logarithm. So ln of x is just the same as log base e of x. It's just this natural logarithm is so important, it comes up all the time, that this is a symbol for it. So yeah, just know that ln means log base e. If you're not quite sure what e is, then either ask your teacher, or there's a bunch of videos online explaining what e is. It's a very interesting mathematical irrational constant. So what's the change of base formula? Well, we have log e of e over log e of 2, right? Because the 2 goes down, e goes up. Well, log e of e is just 1, right? Because we raise any number raised to the power 1 is the number itself. So we know that this is 1. And then log e of 2, I'm just going to rewrite that as ln of 2. And that's our answer. So we've changed from a base 2 to a base e logarithm, although the e is technically, if we go in there, e should be right there. But because we use it so much, we just abbreviate it as ln. So I'm hoping that was sort of a nice intro to logarithms. Very simple questions. In your exam, they would be harder. But if you need more help like this and sort of want to get a bit more maths tutoring, feel free to head over to Think Smart Tutoring. You can get a tutor there. And hopefully that should help you prepare for your exams, feel a bit more confident, and make maths just a little less scary. So yeah, hope you guys have a nice day and see you later.